Hey guys, David here with How to Beast, and in this video I want to talk about what it takes to deal with a breakup and what steps you should take after a painful breakup to make sure that you rebuild yourself and that you end up a stronger version of yourself because of the experience rather than just drowning in regret and anxiety and not being able to recover and to level up, so to speak. But just really extending and dragging on this inevitable period of pain and making it worse and longer than it needs to be. So obviously breakups suck. There's never a breakup. There's never a good relationship that ends in a non-painful way. Sure, it might be a mutual thing that both people accept is the right decision, and you might understand that it was the right thing or the best thing given the circumstances, but that's not going to mean that it's going to be easy. It's not. It's always painful. And over the last 2 years, I've dealt with two pretty bad breakups, one of them not so long ago. So I want to share my plan forward with you guys, as well as what I've learned from my past breakups and what I've learned from my friends and from other people who've gone through bad breakups and who I've sort of commiserated with and talked about our breakups with. So I think that the first step, or even called the step zero of any breakup or getting past any breakup, is sort of accepting the fact that it is going to be painful. Because a lot of people will sort of try and distract themselves from the fact, or whenever it enters their mind, or they start to feel the pain and the anxiety and the other bad emotions that come along as the result of a breakup, they try and push it out of their mental consciousness, right? They just try and push it away and try and focus on something else. And what this does ultimately is it just extends the period of time that it's going to take to overcome this trauma. So and I might sound like a psychiatrist here, but you sort of have to deal with the trauma and the pain to get past it. If you don't deal with it and you don't, sort of embrace the feelings of pain and anxiety, then they're not going to go away. You can't, if you push them off to a later time, they are going to come back at a later time. They're not just going to go away. So step one or step zero, as I said, accept that it's kind of going to suck for a little bit. And when you get sad or emotional or mad or whatever it is, rather than trying to get past that, sort of just feel through that pain and that emotion and sort of let it sort of consume you, not to the point where you're just like suicidal or something like that, but really experience it and be with it, because that's ultimately what's going to allow you to get through it. But after that, on to like the sort of actionable steps that I recommend. The first one is don't drown in regret. And when I say this, I mean that you're inevitably going to think back and reflect on the relationship. And there's going to be things that you did that you wish you didn't do. There's going to be things that you didn't do that you wish you did. There's going to be things that your girlfriend did that you're still mad at. And there's going to be things that your girlfriend didn't do that still upset you. So rather using all of these things as a vehicle to make you, get madder, more angry, or more sad, you sort of want to just analyze them in a stoic way. So you want to look at them and say, okay, what can I learn from this? If you did some stupid shit over and over again, then sort of just accept that you were wrong and learn from it so that next time you're in a similar situation, you don't make that mistake. And same goes for something you didn't do. And on her end, if there's something she did or didn't do that upsets you, you want to sort of take a look at that and see, maybe I was just making a big deal out of nothing because I was insecure, as commonly is the case. Or maybe she really was doing something that's just not acceptable to you in a relationship. And if that's the fact, then, just sort of keep that in mind so that you don't get in future long-term relationships with girls that have those same tendencies. Two that I would recommend would be to start to practice a daily morning ritual. And what I mean by this is a set of habits that you do every day in the morning. I actually recently did a video that's just about this, and I'll link that below, that goes into depth about my morning ritual. But the reason that you should do this is because a lot of times after a breakup, when things are sort of chaotic, you can start to stop doing things that make you feel motivated and happy. Good habits that you have, you can stop practicing them just because you're sort of in this whirlwind of emotions. So you want to make sure that you just do them in the morning and get them done so that they can have their impact on you, and so that you can sort of set the tone for the day every day on a positive note, rather than getting caught up in that emotional whirlwind and letting that and sort of the depression of the breakup overtake you. So without getting into too much detail about the habits that I recommend, my current routine is this. I wake up and I journal. So I answer some questions to myself. After that, I meditate. And then I take a cold shower, just sort of like reinvigorate my body. And finally, I read for 30 minutes. And I do those 4 things every morning. All right, step 3 is going to be to refocus on your purpose. So you really need to make sure that your goals or any missions that you have in life are your focus after a breakup. Because during a relationship, you can sort of start to, identify yourself as a man who has a girlfriend, right? You start to identify yourself as yourself plus your girlfriend, because you guys sort of do become a team in one sense. So that when you break up, it's almost like you lost part of yourself, and it leaves this emotional hole, as well as this a hole in your time and your day. This time you normally spent with your girlfriend that you're no longer spending with her, and you want to make sure that you don't just that you do fill this hole with something. And what you should fill it with is focusing on something that's meaningful to you. So refocusing on your goals. And if you don't have any goals, then taking the time to brainstorm some goals and choose some things to focus on working on, whether it's something in your career, whether it's a hobby, whether it's something in your own business that you run. You want to make sure that you sort of recommit yourself to your own goals. And you should definitely do this when you're in a relationship too. You never want to make the relationship the center of your life, but at the same time, during that end period of a relationship, a lot of probably the trauma that led up to the breakup, and then the immediate aftermath of the breakup, during that hectic time period, it is easy to lose focus of your goals. So make sure that you're focused and you're dialed back in. Or is simply to make sure that you're spending time with your man friends. So obviously, as we talked about, there's that hole in time you're spending with your girlfriend. So rather than just spending your time in isolation, make sure that you're hanging out with your buddies. And you should be doing that during the relationship, but it's even more important after the relationship, so that you get that moral support. You can tell them about the breakup, about how you're feeling about the breakup, about any anger or sadness that you're having, and they'll support you. They'll give you feedback, they'll give you advice, and they'll sort of just be there to listen to you. And having that sense of camaraderie, or your male friends who can bring that sense of masculine camaraderie specifically into your life, it's really important, especially after a breakup. All right, the 5th and final step is to slowly re-enter the dating market. So you don't want to, on one hand, jump back in and start having crazy amounts of sex with different girls, because while that can be your natural inclination, there is that saying, the quickest way to get over one girl is to get under another girl. It doesn't really work that way. If you start having a lot of sex, or right after your breakup, it's not going to magically make everything better, make you forget about your ex. But if it's too soon, and it's like too much sex, too many different partners, whatever combination of that you take, it's just going to make you think more and more about your ex, compare these other girls to your ex. You're not really going to respect them. You're not really going to enjoy the time you spend with them or the sex you have with them. And as a result, it's just going to sort of draw out this whole healing process. At the same time, you do want to re-enter the dating market. You don't want to wait too long, because you do want to remind yourself that there are other girls out there, and also that there are other girls out there that are attracted to you. You don't want to fall into the trap that, my ex was perfect, she was the one that got away, there's never going to be another girl like her, there's never going to be another girl that likes me, or any other sort of depressing bullshit that are stories that you can tell yourself. So you do want to re-enter the dating market. Maybe when you feel ready, and when you're not just going to compare every experience that you have to your ex-girlfriend. So there you have it. Those are my 5 steps. Again, the first and step 0, the main thing, if you take anything from this video, this would be what I suggest, that pain it's part of the process. And you have to sort of accept the reality, accept the fact that there's going to be some pain, and be with that. But aside from that, the 5 steps I recommend, again, are don't drown in regret, have an empowering morning routine, refocus on your goals, and institute a sense of purpose into your life, hang out with your man friends, and then slowly re-enter the dating market. That's all I got for y'all today. Stay beastly.